Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or at any time you are watching this or listening to this episode. Man, it felt so long. I've waited so long to say that. Uh, Welcome to another episode of the Down in the Valley podcast. My name is Edson Ochoa, and we're back after almost a year and a half being out. And now we have a reason to be back here talking about RGV Soccer. Obviously, we're talking about the announcement and, of course, the inaugural season for the RGV Red Crowns, which is the newest semi-pro team here in the Rio Grande Valley that will play in the League for Clubs. And as always, I've got my good friend and co-host Jacob Young. Jacob, how you doing?
Um, I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this. Finally, we're back. And I mean, it's funny because, honestly, Edson, I'm gonna be real with you. I never thought that we would have another soccer team in the RGV, and let alone do another show like this because of the fact of just, I mean, normally it's three strikes and you're out. It feels like we've had three teams that have just decided to fold all of a sudden in soccer down in the valley. But this one, it feels different, man. And so glad to be back.
Honestly, you and me both, man. I mean, I remember being on after the announcement that the Toros were going to fold. I was on a couple of shows. One of them was Bayou City Soccer, and they asked me, all these shows that I was on asked me, like, do you think that professional soccer would ever come back to the Rio Grande Valley? And I mean, technically, the answer is still no, right? Because
Yep.
as I mentioned, the Red Crowns are semi-pro, right? But we cannot, take out the fact that there could be some sort of plan to move this team to the professional ranks. And won't you know it, now we have a professional team again in the Rio Grande Valley. But yeah, honestly, after that announcement in 2023, I honestly thought that the Down in the Valley was going to end. I that was going to be basically my retirement, right? And obviously it didn't feel great, doing this for 7 years, that all of a sudden I'm going to be cold turkey not doing podcasts anymore. But I managed to get my fix, helping with, obviously, with Mente Futbolera, with Bayou City Soccer, with production, the creation of TikToks, but it just never really felt the same, right? And now all of a sudden, we get this, actually Ray in the group chat, I don't know if you remember, he was the one that brought it up to us, the RGV Pro Soccer Project on Facebook. He shared it with us, and we're like, well, this is interesting. It honestly came out of nowhere. There was no murmurs about any pro. I mean, we knew about the existence of FC Brownsville, then I think last year you had this UPSL team here in the valley, the Ask Alliance or something like that. But it just never really felt like,
Yeah.
I never really felt connected to any. One, obviously, Brownsville was like all the way over there. It's like an hour away.
To be exact, Edson, real quick, it's about 54 minutes to the sports park from where I live. Like just under an hour, because I've been there multiple times, including to cover that team who, let's be honest, it was interesting. That's the best way to put it.
But I mean, yeah, I didn't really want to make any comments because I never really went to any of the games, never really had any contact with anybody from FC Brownsville. But then, like I said, this came up, and it just felt different. Like it felt, there was some vibes to it that, you know what? Let me give it a little bit of a deeper look into this, right? So I like their page on Facebook, And lo and behold, I got reached out to by Colby, who is now the president for the now known RGV Red Crowns, and he starts explaining me this whole project. He starts explaining me what the idea is going to be. This is going to be more of a grassroots type of organization, kind of growing it from the bottom up, not trying to force something into right off the bat professional level, like let's say like the Toros were. He had kind of like a general idea of how he wanted to bring it up, and I don't know if he reached out to you, beforehand, but what were your original thoughts? What were your first impressions about this project?
So yeah, let's go all the way to the start when, like you said, Ray Silva, he brought it up to us in the group chat. It's for me, it's funny enough. I think that I somehow, some way heard about it from my boss, Joe Bowling, which he had mentioned something about it, that he had said where the White Wings used to play. Have you heard anything about a soccer team? So this was about, in my opinion, I think like the year that the Toros technically disbanded. That same year, it felt like there was some movement there, but no one knew anything of it, including myself. And then Ray Silva, he months later, about almost a year later, he brings it up to us saying, "Hey, there's this project," and at the start, I'm like, "Well, no, I don't care," because it feels like it might just be another FC Brownsville type deal where it's just we're not going to feel connected, like you mentioned. And even when I covered FC Brownsville, of course, I'm there to do a job and I'm there to be unbiased. And so at that point, I didn't for that season feel connected to them, anyways. But moving on, it was just one of those situations of okay, let's see. And then I remember going to Circuit of the Americas in February, in March, when you mentioned it to me again a little bit more. And then you knew about the owner, which was Colby. You knew about more about it. And then I listened to it and it was interesting. Then all of a sudden he has the launch party for the team. And that's where it reeled me in. This feels so different than what we've ever seen, including from the Toros. And we were so connected to the Toros, Edson, but for some strange reason, I don't know. It feels like they care more about it than the Toros ever cared about the Toros. And that's saying something, that he feels he has this expectation of 4 years down the line, maybe potentially being in, I wouldn't say the MLS, but being in USL League One at worst. And with, Pro Rel, that's exciting. So, like, there's this excitement around it that I have never felt with the Toros.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it hurt. I mean, when the Toros left, it really hurt the way they just decided, yeah, bye guys, we don't want to hear anything about you anymore. Press, yeah, we're not going to answer any questions. Bye now. Ahí se les arreglan. And they just left us like, okay, like, what are we going to do now? Like, players were left like, well, what are we going to do now kind of thing as well. So it really left a sour taste in a lot of fans' mouths, and obviously that's going to be something that the Red Crowns are going to have to deal with. I know, obviously, my biggest concern, and this is just me being honest, I even told Colby about it, and my biggest concern was actually the Harlingen location, because I felt like if it was going to be a club that was going to be representing the whole valley, the location of Harlingen being in the heart of Cameron County, which is pretty much on the eastern end of the Rio Grande Valley, was going to be a lot harder to sell to people in Starr County, people in Hidalgo County, right? But I do feel, honestly, that they're making a sincere effort to connect with the community. I mean, you can say, well, it feels like they cater mostly to Cameron County. Well, yes. How many times did we hear on this show say about the Toros that they couldn't even make a connection with Hidalgo County, right? So I mean that's actually that's a positive. I think obviously the stadium is going to be in historic Harlingen Field. You're gonna want to make a connection with businesses, around the community businesses at that, not corporations, like community mom and pop businesses, making a connection there, to promote the brand, to promote, community union, so that's a lot more than I think we've seen from the Toros, and I may be wrong, but to me, it really does feel like that. And I want to hear everybody's thoughts that's in the chat. I want to thank, obviously, we got Johnny. We've got Blues Fan, Slat Business. By the way, he mentioned the name. It's Ansa Lions, RGV Ansa Lions. So thank you, Slat Business, for clarifying that. And we've got JP Dynamo 88 who says, En vivo again. So, but yeah, good to be back. But yeah, it was... Now we're here, so we know about the project. We start seeing all of these events. Obviously, I went to the crest reveal event. Talked a little bit to other people. There's actually been a decent turnout. Surprisingly, there's actually been a decent turnout of fans. Trying to give it an opportunity. I know I actually met one of our longtime fans of the Down of the Valley podcast, Luis Emilio Lopez. I actually met him at the Crest Reveal event. So I think that was pretty cool to talk to him about Toros, talk to him about Tigres, talk to him about the future for this club. So and you'd be surprised. I'm really not much of a people talker on the outside, but when you talk soccer with me, it tends to make it a lot easier for me. But at the end of the day, we start hearing all of this, and lo and behold, one of the reasons that Kobe did reach out to us, and this is, I'm pretty sure you guys saw this on all of our social media, is so we, as Jacob and I, are officially the official play-by-play announcers for the RGV Red Crowns. So that is a very, very, very fun, but at the same time nerve-wracking experience. At least for me, man. Yeah. That to have the responsibility to bring the passion to describe what's happening on the field there at Harlingen Field. I know, like I said, for people, I know there's a lot of people here, whether you're watching right now or you're listening on your favorite podcasting platform later on. But, I've been doing this podcasting thing for 7 years. Started with the Peel in Houston, covering the Houston Dynamo, which ended up, they had the segment, 15-minute segment called Down of the Valley, which covered the Toros. Met Justin and Josh, and then, they're like, hey, man, I know you're from the Valley. You know more about this team. Do you want to take over? And I'm like, hell yeah, of course I'll do it, man. They became my best friends, and it just grew from there. Obviously, it became its own podcast to what we have now. And then from there, obviously, I've done Spanish with Mente Futbolera, whether it was writing articles, appearing on the radio. I didn't do TV, honestly. But radio, obviously, podcasts and all this stuff. Bayou City Soccer, the Striker Texas, as well, writing articles for the Striker Texas. So I've been I have a lot of experience when it comes to covering soccer, but it just doesn't compare to, the experience of doing play-by-play. And that's what makes me nervous. On the other hand, Jacob, for those of the fans that are barely found out about us, barely started following us, what can you tell them about your experience? What is your background in all of this? I know it, and I'm sure all of the OG Down in the Valley fans know it, but for those that are new, so that way they can get to know you.
So I mean, it it goes back for so long. That's the craziest part about all of this. And so when I was in high school, this is where it really started. I loved sports, and I knew, okay, well, being an athlete is out of the picture. Let's be real. Even though I'm tall, I'm from the Valley, and I didn't, join all that from when I was a kid. But anyways, my whole point was I loved sports, and I loved watching sports in general. And sometimes when I was in front of the TV, I would uh, just randomly announce a basketball game. And so, anyways, it brought me and racing as well into the deal. Then, not too long after that, in 2016, I start my own, or 2015, I start my own YouTube channel with a friend, and I announced some iRacing races. And so, from then, it grew into something massive. And then, 2018, I'm doing these announcing for this company called American Sim Network, a little bit of racing, which is just absolutely, absolutely amazing. And so it was such a cool experience. Then, of course, I meet you, Edson, and at that time as well. And then we do what we do best down in the valley. Here it goes. And then 2019, all of a sudden in August of that 2019, I decided, well, okay, um, let me join this company called Rio Sports Live Network and see how I can be. And that made me learn volleyball. That made me learn football more in depth, to be exact, American football. Then all of a sudden, I'm covering basketball. This is amazing, girls and boys basketball, girls and then all of a sudden, my bread and butter, what I know best in at least the Valley, which is girls and boys soccer, and that was absolutely amazing. There, I've covered immense a ton of games there from that point on, and it grew into something massive where I wanted to do this for the rest of my life, and sure enough, and so, man, it's led me all the way over here, which is something that I've always wanted, didn't know when it would happen, and this is just a starting point for both of us. And I'm excited. Yes, I am nervous. I'm always nervous before a broadcast, no matter what, because there's so many things that can go wrong, and there's so many things that, of course, can go right, and it's amazing, and I'm so thankful to be here.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, when I reached out to you back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, you had your YouTube channel called Tip of Texas Sports Network.
Yeah.
You were, if I'm not mistaken, you were part of the Stampede supporters group as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I found out. That's how I found out about you. And I would look over your stuff, or your videos, and I thought, what, this guy would be a good addition, to the Down in the Valley podcast. And I know at the beginning, if I recall correctly, you were a little bit hesitant.
Yeah, it's like this guy doesn't want any competition.
see, you say that, and I feel like if I was in your shoes, I probably would have felt the same way. So honestly, it's very valid feeling, right? But honestly, yeah. I honestly felt like, man, I can't do this alone. I'm not a guy that loves to go on like monologues or anything like that. Like, I gotta have somebody that will tell me, hey, okay, you're right, or you know what, you're wrong in this thing. So I felt like I needed to have somebody else, and honestly, the only other person that was actually had the experience of being on camera on YouTube, that goes to the games, week in and week out, was you. Right. Then all of a sudden it grew from you. It was me and you. And then I want to say Cesar comes along, and then Ray comes along as a collaborator. So it just became this whole big project that, even though it was still a hobby, like it was something very serious. I mean, with Down in the Valley, I got accredited for CONCACAF games, obviously for MLS, NWSL, FIFA friendlies too. So it made me it actually made me meet a lot of people as well. A lot of great Dynamo fans, a lot of great RGV fans, and all of the stuff. So I'm actually really proud of how much we have grown. JP Dynamo says, "R.I.P. the Peel missing the Dynamo podcast crew." So do I, man. So do I. Like, I really wish they could come back. But hey, never say never. That's all I'm gonna say. Mike is back as well. He says, "Welcome back." Thanks, Mike. Hopefully, we can have you around for a couple of Red Crowns games as well. But anyway. So we talked a little bit more. I think it's enough talking about us. And then people are gonna think like, "Oh, we're so narcissistic or something or whatever." Just kidding. But so let's talk about what were the news so far that we have regarding the Red Crowns. Obviously, one of the things that kind of caught us off guard when it was announced was the short turnaround. Yeah. The short turnaround for the announcement of the team to we're going to be playing in the inaugural season is going to be 2025 instead of 2026.
Yeah, it works out for us, honestly, but it was such a short turnaround that even I was shocked in general. But of course, you want to get off the ground as best as possible, and if you have the resources to do it and to get everything ready, then go for it. The only thing that I'm truly afraid of, and maybe this has changed, was when you and I visited the stadium, and it looked like for at least the field, the grass, it didn't look amazing at that time. Now that was about a month ago or so, and so that's one of the things that, of course, only worries me for that. But once they said that they were able to start this year, they found a league and all of that. Again, everything else just was perfectly mixed into it, as in they cared and they wanted to get things forward and they wanted to sign players as best as possible. And before we knew it, they already had everybody. And I mean, again, we're talking about this game being this Saturday. So, yes, of course, they have everybody on the team already and signed. Of course, I'm assuming. But anyways, it was pretty shockingly good.
Yeah, I thought it was just very surprising that, such a short turnaround. The head coach was announced in that crest reveal event, which is it's going to be Rafael Reina, who is a native of the Rio Grande Valley. I think one of the things as well that Colby really hit upon multiple times during that event was they were striving to be as authentic and as very 956 as possible when it came to not only with the players, but also with, the staff, also with, anybody that worked on anything in regards to the Red Crowns. I mean, I believe even with the crest, they actually had a designer from the Rio Grande Valley working on it as well. And then obviously, coaching staff with Rafa Reina being someone from the Rio Grande Valley. He is a person who has been with obviously local high school. I believe the last, if I recall correctly, I think he was in Mission, if I'm not mistaken. But he was also with the El Paso Surf in the WPSL. He was with the El Paso Locomotive Academy. He was where else did I see that he was that he coached. But yeah, he's got a lot of experience at the high school level, at the semi-pro level, and of course, I want to say he was also in college, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up real quick the information that I sent over to you, just so I can, give y'all valid information. But yeah, with his experience, and not only that, so he has a master's that he got from the university over in Wales. Let me get that all that info. I had it, actually had it all right here, but it's like when I clicked on the link that I sent you, it was telling me, oh, you have to sign in to that page in order to see it. Okay, here we go. So he was at, Yeah, so El Paso Surf and El Paso Locomotive Youth Academy soccer coach, Manville Rice Soccer Club as well. So he was actually at the club level too, and he has a master's from the University of South Wales and UEFA Class A license as well. So I believe that he has the credentials, to be coaching at this level. He knows how to coach youth players. He knows how to coach, players that are looking to go into the professional environment, those that are in college. And I believe he also has the preparations with that UEFA Class A license to be able to coach professionals if needed. Mm-hmm. So we got the complete package with Rafa Reina. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. When he was first introduced as well, and when I heard this also from my friend, shout out Rudy Zamaripa, but that's one of the biggest thing was that reading all of his acclimates for being a coach. That is impressive to have that many licenses right off the get-go. Very impressive. Again, like you mentioned, him having his masters from Wales. It's just, he knows the game of soccer. And of course, we'll get to talk to him more and learn more about his background and all this, but it's just absolutely, it's phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to really getting to talk with him and seeing especially why a couple of these players they ended up signing, because of course he knows what he's doing. He wants those types of players to help out. It's going to be more, of course, Valley based, but for that most part, if you even, of course, I know that we will soon look at the roster, and if people on this stream have been following, well, you have players that are playing at least first or their second year in college soccer, and that's already absolutely amazing. And then you have a couple of pro or still technically semi-pros, almost pros. I don't know what NISA technically qualifies as, but you have two of those players that have played with them and now are going to help out with, of course, the RGV and, of course, playing big minutes. But those are a lot of players to get those younger players that maybe just came out of high school that are playing in JCAA soccer to learn from. So it's just the way that the roster was done, Edson. It's just, I'm still in awe about it because it feels so good. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with our head coach.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I think the only thing that that I kind of don't like, and this is not something about him, but it's just the fact that we're at the level we're at. There's really not a lot of data and statistics on his career. So really, we're not skewed, or how can I put this? He's got within the fans' eyes, including ourselves, he has, a clean slate to work with. He doesn't so in other words, it's like, for example, when the Toros brought in Wilmer Cabrera, what did we say? What did we say about Wilmer? Well, it's because he didn't make it in MLS. He had issues with, with the locker room, yada, 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 yada. And obviously, it's like, okay, yeah, we got Wilmer, but man, there's like these things that are like, man, like I hope he fixes or things like that. Obviously, previous experiences with Wilmer in his first stint with as well as with the Houston Dynamo with myself.
Yeah.
So, and in the end, his results, given considering what he was given as far as materials to work with when it comes to players, I think he left it. I guess a good taste, and at least in my mouth. I'm not going to speak for you. But in the case of Coach Reina, Coach Rafa, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, we're going to let him cook. We'll see what he's got. We'll see how he implements his style, his tactics into this team. So it's like he's not going to be trying to climb out of a hole when it comes to perception from the fans and from both of us.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough for me to say because I just go back to it, Edson. it it takes so much time to get that UEFA Class A license. I just go back to it, and I just, in my opinion, don't believe. Yes, Wilmer Cabrera still a very good coach, but when you're starting off, this is a perfect way to start off in a semi-pro and prove yourself. And all of a sudden, it just it he feel I've talked to coaches before, even high school coaches, and I can tell when somebody is probably could have probably had that opportunity to make it in that next level, but decided to stay down here. And I can tell when somebody's just there to be there. I mean, oh my gosh, countless amounts of times of McCallum Memorial's boys soccer head coach. I mean, there's a reason why the boys soccer team always did bad, and that's because the coach just was not good. And then you have the girls soccer coach, which was amazing, and he knew what to do, and he knew how to control that locker room. And so, yes, of course, that's the one worry, as every head coach is, to make sure I don't lose that locker room. But in my eyes, I don't necessarily see that happening because the players that he has on this team, and I'm going to shout out another player, Vicente Alvarez, he looks amazing. So it just, yeah, one of those situations.
Give a quick shout out to the Yogi Bear Gaming, my boy Josh. Hey, JP, you were talking about the peel. We got one of the members right here. He says, hello, welcome back. I'll be here lurking. So guys, if you guys enjoy gaming streams, be sure to check out the Yogi Bear Gaming as he plays almost any kind of games, whether it's FPS, the fun little games like Repo or anything like that. Be sure to check him out. And of course, our good friend Jeff Strong. Welcome back, boys. Jeff, thank you so much for saying hi to us. And I know you're a huge fan of the Down in the Valley's work, and I'm glad to see you back to support us, even though this new team has no connections with the Houston Dynamo. But thank you so much. You're very welcome to always be here and participate in the chat. I know you were very participative last night with Bayou City Soccer, so it was great to read you, man. But okay, so yeah, that we're going to talk. You mentioned right now Vicente Alvarez. So Vicente was actually the first player that was officially announced by the Red Crowns. Obviously, you have a lot more experience with high school soccer than I ever do. So, I mean, what we know is that Vicente, if I'm not mistaken, played with Mackay and is currently with St. Edward's University. I know he's technically categorized as a midfielder, but what can you tell us about Vicente Alvarez?
Yeah, he'll most likely, he can be a very good forward in a sense, being a number 10 to be exact, and playing very well in that. He can control possession, be that type of playmaker, as well as score goals. He scored multiple goals on McAllen High School. I can't tell you that much about his time at St. Edward's University for his first couple of years, but I know, I mean, he's still on the team. He's done well in my eyes, and learning a lot is still one of his key things that he's good with. And one of the situations, of course, is he's going to be in a good situation on that first team, him in the middle with his two right and left wings that I believe he's even played with before as well. So that there's chemistry already there, Edson, in that whole attacking force that you wouldn't necessarily be shocked at. And I expect him to be more of that attacker because of the fact of other two players that will be more controlled in that midfield.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that the day that they announced him, and I shared it with the group chat, the hype that you had for Vicente was like, man, okay, that this has to mean something, because you're one of the kind of the guys that will say if a player, I know you got in trouble a couple of times back in the OG Down in the Valley times, like with Jonathan Ricketts. Huge shout out to him by the way over at the Miami FC. We don't forget about you guys, former Toros players.
Miami FC.
Yeah, I don't know why they specifically want the to be in the formal team name, but that's That's their thing. But anyway, what I was getting at is that obviously you're one of the kind of players that will specifically say, oh, I think this player is not going to be good, or I think this player is going to be a bench warmer kind of thing. So when you come up with hype, like, oh my God, I can't believe they got Vicente Alvarez, man, he's such a great player right now. I was like, hey, that's okay. Like, man, I got to shut up and listen, because he knows, like, Jacob knows what he's talking about. He's been, calling high school soccer for, you mentioned, what, 6 years?
Yeah, at least 6 years. Yeah. Considering, not to mention that my sister, shout out to her, Natalie Young. She played high school soccer for McAllen Memorial, and so I've been around that even longer before then too. So it's one of those situations of I've just been around it all my life, and so I could definitely see just at least that level, the high school level of play, very well, in my opinion. I mean, considering, man, I've been thankful enough to be able to cover none other than the 30 or Region 4 regional semis and finals. And so for boys and girls soccer. So we gotten to see how Brownsville Lopez played and all of that, and how intense it is all around the Valley. And then, of course, Texas Southmost College on top of that. So I know some good players when I see them, for sure.
So Vicente was historically the first ever signing for the Red Crowns. Then a couple of days later, they announced a goalkeeper, Juan Carlos Alvarez Jr. I don't know if him and Vicente are related or not. I just thought it was awesome that both the first two players are last named Alvarez. But Juan Carlos Alvarez Jr. was the second signing for the Red Crowns. He is here from McAllen, Texas as well. He did play with the RGV Toros Academy, right? So I'm guessing he was from Idea Toros. And he was currently playing at American University. To be honest, this is actually the first time I've ever heard of that university. But what are your thoughts on him? Did you ever get... did you ever watch him or playing, or what can you tell us about him?
I believe I have, because here's a fun fact for you. The Idea Toros, before they were an MLS Next program, they were a charter school program. That means that they played against Marine Military Academy and went on to state, funny enough. And one of those years I got to go and cover the charter state tournament as well. And yes, I did get to watch him play. And in high school, very good goalkeeper, in my opinion. There's a reason why they went to state. They had a lot of great players. And again, shout out to their coach who has been with them. I believe he's from across the pond, which is pretty interesting as well. But it's one of those situations, again, of just he's really, I mean, there's a reason why. I said this before on the other podcasts or on the other talk show that I get to do every Wednesday, but it's so cool. If you're able to get drafted up to an up north school, not only just the Northwest, but we're talking about Northeast, where you're close to the Big East, the Big Ten, the ACC in men's college soccer, you did something right. And even if it's American University near DC, they're still going to be playing for a right to that NCAA tournament, and he's one of those players. So, in my opinion, very great signing, and yeah, honestly, looking forward to seeing what he can do between the pipes, as we call it, between the goal.
Jeff Strong says, I still want to see a DITV poster of Edson's version of the Biggie picture wearing a crown, though Edson's version, he's wearing a red crown. The notorious DITV. Hey, with the power of AI, we can actually see that. Although I'm not really a huge fan of AI artwork, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so moving on to the next signing, we're gonna go kind of real quick with the signings. So the third signing was made on April 7th, or the announcement basically. Isaid Games, who's the center back. He's from Mission, Texas, Sherryland Pioneer High School, and also plays for St. Edward's University.
Yeah. Again, great signing just due to the fact, yes, he is a local here, but also, again, he knows Vicente Alvarez. This is why this is such a big deal of that signing. Getting those players together that they are known can do well together because, again, they have done more research. They've done more scouting than we necessarily have at the moment. So they've seen things that I haven't necessarily seen, but I've gotten to talk to my other source, which I will remain anonymous. And he's saying, look, these are great signings. This is what Alvarez technically wanted, and this is they will work perfectly together. So again, it's fantastic.
So moving on to the next, another signing from St. Edward's University. This time it's Emiliano Abud. Forgive me if I mispronounce last names, guys. Don't go on social media and start flaring me for mispronouncing. In fact, if everybody knows the actual pronunciation of these last names, go ahead and let me know. I do want to learn them. Once we start doing the play-by-play, want to make sure we say their names correctly.
Of course,
So, yeah. So Emiliano Abud, he is a forward from St. Edward's University. He is from Mission, Texas, and he played for IMG Academy.
Mm-hmm. This one is a shocking signing. Yes, he's from here, but I don't know how much you know, Edson, of IMG Academy, and I don't know how much the whole audience knows about IMG Academy, but they are such a prime academy, especially for football. That's where you normally hear a lot of those players coming out of. But with IMG Academy, they produced amazing basketball players too. So even being accepted in there is kind of difficult. You want to have that type of playing time. You want to have that type of training. Oh, he's ready for that next step. And so, again, a brilliant signing. I don't necessarily know the stats on him, but just he's going to fit right in. It's going to be really well.
And the next signing that was announced, and this one was on April 14th. He's somebody that, if you guys remember from the Toros days, he was an academy signing from the Toros. So you all have probably heard this name before being said here and down in the Valley. And he is Angel Luna. Angel Luna, he's from Weslaco, Texas, played for Weslaco High School, and he actually played at Butler University. I'm not 100% sure if he played alongside Wilmer Cabrera Jr., who's now killing it with El Paso Locomotive, but yeah, they both went to Butler. So Angel Luna is coming in from Butler University to play for the RGV Red Crowns.
Yeah, and again, I go back to the same thing that I talked about, but here's the thing. You have that opportunity to play in, yes, for the Horizon League, at least in soccer, it's not necessarily anything amazing. Butler didn't necessarily do that well last season or this past year in soccer, but again, you're playing college ball at one of the top levels in general, or check that Big East. I think that's where they are in soccer. I completely forget because, again, every single sport just about has different teams in every single conference, including basketball, baseball, whatever you like. Because, well, guess what? The UTRGV, side note, they're moving to the Ohio Valley Conference for soccer, which is just weird, at least just the men's side. But anyways, back to my point.
So yes, it looks like they do play in the Big East.
The Big East, okay. So you're talking about them playing Georgetown, teams up there. So they're not playing against weak opponents at all. They're playing against, I believe, the Pirates of former head coach Jerson Echeverry, who formerly coached that team as well. So,
Jerson coached
Seton Hall, the Seton Hall Pirates.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Yes, they're part of the Big East. Yeah, and so that's what I'm talking, or that's what I meant. But anyways, yeah, you're playing up north in men's soccer. That's not a small signing in general. So I'm very, very excited about that again.
And like I said, we're kind of going over real quickly all of these signings. I didn't want to kind of spend too much time today with the podcast. So just to let you guys know real quick, most of our podcasting during the season is going to be at the pregame and postgame shows before and after every home game. That's where we're mostly going to be focusing on doing these shows, talking about the Toros, talking about results. So be sure to be on tune with that. So every time the Toros have a home game, not the Toros, the Red Crowns, it's going to be a hard habit to break. So when the Red Crowns have a home game, we will have a pregame and postgame show. The only exception is probably more than likely going to be the home opener, since I will not be in the Valley. Unfortunately, I had already made plans and bought tickets to go see the Coke 600 in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they were all non-refundable, so it's like I pretty much have to go. But and we'll talk about the schedule real quick later. But yeah, so the rest of the home games after the home opener, we will have pregame and postgame shows for you all to tune in, watch, obviously to interact and participate with your opinions, hot takes, yada, 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 all about the RGV Red Crowns. So we talked about Angel Luna. And the next signing, I know you kind of dug up a little bit about the signing, but it's Corey Lundeen, midfielder from Arroyo Grande, California, and he comes in from the Savannah Clovers of, I want to say, Nisa.
Exactly. So I dug up a little bit about him off of. You can find this on FotMob, funny enough, and also the transfer website. I forget what that's called. Transfer news. I don't know.
Transfer Market.
There you go. Transfer Market online. And so here's the cool part. So I looked up, and for this year, for the Savannah Clovers, he played every single game, which was pretty interesting. Now, he did move teams inside of the NISA League from, I believe, the Arroyo Grande Club, or close to it, all the way over back to, Savannah, home of the Savannah Bananas, but the Savannah Clovers as well. Mm-hmm. And so, and I looked, and here's the cool part. He's played just about for every single game. He played close to 90 minutes, if not more than 90 minutes. Only got subbed off, I believe, twice, and had picked up a couple of yellow cards. But here's why this is such an important signing. He might not have goals, but he is such a leader in the midfield, is what it seems like, as in a playmaker. So if he's going to be that supporting role / making sure that he can get the team up the field, is what it seems like, just based off of those stats. That's going to be very important in general for this side to have something like that. So very excited for Lundeen.
For Corey Lundeen, of course. So next signing was Jose Valdez, forward from Harlingen, Texas, used to play for Idea Toros and is currently at Tiffin University.
Yep. So Tiffin University, private school. I believe possibly up north again. Goodness. That one's a tough school for me to know of, because I don't know. They're, again, a private school.
From Ohio.
From Ohio. So, again, even though it's a small school or a small private school, you're playing up north in Ohio, and there's been, a good amount of players that have come out of Ohio for the U.S. men's national team or anything like that. And so it's a good starting point for that man to learn a lot about it. And again, being signed here, I don't know how much playing time he's going to have, but from the Idea Toros, you have to guess, because of how much training they do, and they specifically focus on soccer, I think he's going to be all right, because I think he's going to be a pretty great player on the field.
So just checking real quick, Tiffin University's Instagram page. So they mention in here that they are 4-time GMAC regular season champions, last one being 2024. And they are 3 times GMAC tournament champions, last one being in 2023. That year they also were regular season champions. So in the last couple of years, they have been a force to be reckoned with within their, I'm guessing their conference. That's the GMAC, or that I'm guessing it's a tournament that they have with similar schools. So at least when it comes to like
it's a conference.
Okay, yeah. So at least within that conference, they are a powerhouse, which means that if a university like that can kind of lay an eye on him, they have a high bar that they have to fulfill as a coach or as a player. Obviously, it's not a well-known school, but these teams they're gonna want to maintain that reputation within their conference, so they're gonna grab the best players that they feel could fulfill those responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So then the next one is another Savannah Clovers player. This time it's Zach Hargreaves, and he played with Missouri State University as well.
Yeah, this is a cool part about having those college athletes. Normally for a good college, on their website, on their athletics page, they have where the player's from, and you can go back a couple of years to find the player. And so I did exactly that, because Zach Hargreaves, I believe he's graduated already, and so not playing with Missouri State. Of course, that's why he's playing in NISA, or was playing in NISA at least. And now Zach Hargreaves is with the Red Crowns, which welcome to McAllen, or welcome to the Valley, including Cameron County, because it's going to be interesting. Hargreaves.
Well, we better give him. We better welcome him with some hot Cheetos with cheese and pickle juice.
I don't know if he's going to be ready for that, because guess what?
We'll make him get ready.
He's from across the pond, man. He might not even be ready for ribs. I don't know, but anyways.
We're gonna make him get ready for that. We're gonna give him some tacos. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get him some of that spicy salsa, and elote en vaso and all that. Man, now I'm getting hungry. Thanks a lot, Edson. But yeah. So what else? What else can you tell us about Hargreaves?
Hargreaves, of course, teammate to Corey Lundeen, so it helps out again. I believe he's right mid, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look that back up again. But he was, out of 2022, he pops up instantly on Missouri State. So let me give you this. He is a midfielder, 6'1", 180 pounds, was a senior at that time. But yes, Manchester, England, coming out from across the pond in Manchester. So he even went to Indiana Wesleyan, Southern Wesleyan, as well for his previous school before he had gone to Missouri State. And so, again, this is a great signing just because, as always, in my opinion, for any soccer team, you cannot be successful if you just have players from one place. And that does include the Valley. That does. Because you need those players that have more experience, that have had more technically training from anywhere outside the state or just inside the state. And so this really helps out bring this unique fill into this team. Him, Zach Hargreaves with Corey Lundeen in that midfield position, that's going to be very well. And that can give a lot of the players that will just be signed as roster fillers to learn a lot more, to practice with, because that's in the end what this is all about. These players, guess what? They, even from TSC, which we'll get to those players in a minute, I'm sure, Edson, but they have that talent. They have enough talent to make it to that next level, to make it to a USL roster. In my opinion, they just need to polish up some things that they need to learn. And that might be just manage the aggressiveness at close to the end of the match or something like that. And so they get to learn from these two players. And it just, in my opinion, it works so well.
So, I mean, basically, they're going to be the mentors for some of these younger kids.
Yep.
And, of course, I mean, they're also young, too. So, they still have a long career ahead of them if they play their cards right. And, teams like the Red Crowns are going to give them, this opportunity to try to, advance their careers into the professional level. And of course, all these young kids from the Valley are gonna learn a couple of stuff from these players that have some sort of experience at this fourth division level, technically within the U.S. soccer pyramid. So you talked about Texas Southmost College, and so the next signing that was announced after Zach Hargreaves was Ruma Gonzalez, who's a defender from Los Fresnos, Texas, played for Los Fresnos High School, and as mentioned, he played at Texas Southmost College.
Yeah, TSC, home of the Scorpions, of course. And look, I mean, he got from Los Fresnos High School, phenomenal 6A. Again, they win district almost every single year in that district, which is very difficult to do, including just how tight that district is. But when you move on to that next round, or from by district to that area, that's when it gets very difficult very fast, especially now with playing against San Antonio schools, and they don't do too well with that. Now, in my opinion, good signing, because, again, I go back to it. He's there to learn. He got to play college soccer, junior college soccer, and the NJCAA. Now, him with Texas Southmost College, I will give them credit for that last season, being able to make the playoffs. But one of the things that I did notice, and I don't believe it was him as well, was when that team would get down in a match, whether it was against Blaine College, whether it was against Angelina College, or any of those teams, they seemed to kind of shut down. And that was very difficult for them, because in one of those matches, they ended up losing. And the biggest thing is they could not score goals. And sometimes would break down defensively, unfortunately. But of course, that's your learning process. You're just in junior college for a reason. You're trying to learn more you're trying to polish up exactly on those steps. So I think he's in a good spot. He will get minutes. I'm almost positive about that. And so with proper coaching behind him, he's going to learn a lot from this experience this summer. And I think next year, if I believe he's a sophomore next season, he's going to be just fine at the start of the year when he goes and plays soccer with TSC.
And I think that this is the best place to learn about how to control your emotions. Like you mentioned, at TSC that you mentioned that they would break down when things weren't going well. Mental maturity you learned at the professional level when you've got players that have been there before and that can give you pointers like, hey man, like this happens, take a breather, we need to have a cool mind to figure out what we need to do to come back, and this and that. So I think it's going to be a good learning experience for him. And like, you also have to remember, this is a summer league. So some of these players, they're still in college. So a lot of the things that they learn here in the summer league, they're going to take it back to TSC in this case. And maybe that will actually help TSC improve. Because remember, we haven't really had, a lot of opportunities here in the Rio Grande Valley for these kids in college to be able to get some experience at a professional environment. I'm not saying they're not really that they're professionals that they're getting paid, but in an environment that is going to be run as professional as possible, to get that experience of what it takes to be a professional, so that if they make it to the next level, they already know what are their expectations, what they need to do, and what they need to improve, not only on the field but off the field, in order to be successful as a professional player. So I feel like what's that? What do they say? Is like a rising tide lifts all ships, or something like that. So something like that. Yeah. Don't quote me, guys. I'm not good with phrases. And the last one, this was actually announced today. This is another TSC signing. This one is also a defender, and this is Jose Diaz from Brownsville, Texas, played for Brownsville Rivera, sorry, and also played for Texas Southmost College. And if I'm not mistaken, within the League for Clubs website, I want to say his profile picture comes out with an FC Brownsville shirt.
Now, I mean, hopefully that's true. In a sense of, he may have gotten to play in their summer league or whatever. I don't know. And so I know he has experience. Let me be clear on that for sure, because I remember Jose Diaz very well. And he did help out that defensive side for TSC this last season. But again, their biggest flaw this past season for TSC was just their attackers couldn't score. Maybe a reason why we don't see any attackers on this team. Just saying. But in all seriousness, I do believe, again, Jose Diaz, he can learn even more from this side and help out this defense when need be. And he has an opportunity to showcase what he's made for. Showcase for scouts. What do all of these junior college players want? They want to leave junior college with knowing that they have maybe a scholarship moving on to the next round, or potentially, yes, they got what they needed for a degree to fall back on when the career is done, so that they can go and play for a USL League One or USL even better championship team at that time. Maybe if they're even better than that, going for a MLS team. So it's all of that sort of thing. That's what he wants. And I believe Jose Diaz, yes, he needs that mentorship to go forward. But I believe that he was honestly pretty all right at defense, and on at least a junior college level, pretty okay.
So far those have all been the signings that have been officially announced. So that makes it 10 signings. That doesn't even complete an 11. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we start getting more and more signings, hopefully multiple announcements per day. Mm-hmm. Because now as we head into talking about the schedule, this Saturday will be the season opener on the road for the Red Crowns. They will be traveling to San Antonio. I'm telling you, man, the San Antonio RGV rivalry did not disappear. It just transformed, because they will be taking on the San Antonio Corinthians this Saturday, the 17th at 7:30 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And then the week after, the 24th, they will be taken on at home in. Hold on, let me put that in here. They'll be taken on at home here at Harlingen. They're taking on the Central Dallas FC here in Harlingen. Then the week after, the 31st, they will return home, and they will be taking on Corinthians of San Antonio Corinthians at Harlingen Field. All of these games are at 7:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. For week 4, they will be traveling to Temple, Texas, to take on Central Texas Coyotes. It's Central Texas Coyotes, Saturday, June 7th at 7:30 p.m. as well. And then for week 5, this one's going to be interesting. They will be playing on Saturday, June 14th at 10 a.m. Man, sometimes I don't even wake up that early. They're playing at 10 a.m. against FC Dallas under 23. All the Dynamo fans that are watching, they're probably like, boo, Dallas, boo, Frisco. But yeah, they're traveling to Frisco, Texas, to play the under 23s of FC Dallas.
Well, now, of course, it might not be Frisco, because, again, I've been told by my source that at least now this isn't the same team, but the North Texas team, they played in they played in Arlington. So I believe there is a chance that the FC Dallas U23 team plays in Arlington at the old at the old stadium of where the baseball team used to play.
Oh, global. Oh, yeah. But
Yeah,
no.
official.
So according to the league, they are playing in one of their one of
Oh, okay.
Dallas's practice fields in Frisco.
Okay.
It's going to be at the Toyota Soccer Center Field 2, if anybody wants to make the trip. And then, still considered week 5, but so they play on Saturday. Wait, this can't be right.
I think one of them was supposed to be Wednesday.
Probably the FC Dallas game. Let me look at the. No.
Yeah, because I
No. Yeah, no. They play. This makes zero sense though, because so they play Saturday, June 14th at 10. They travel to Dallas to take on FC Dallas under 23, like we mentioned, and then the next day, they supposedly play Tyler FC. Yeah, at 7 p.m.
That actually makes perfect sense.
Does it?
Texas to Tyler.
Yeah,
Texas
but from one day, like 2 days in a row.
Oh yeah, because that's what club teams would do normally. And so yes, this is again, it's a semi-pro league, and one of the things that still kind of sticks with it is that sort of club-like feel where one day you're here playing a game, and then the next day you're over at somewhere else. Playing a game, just like, back for example, I know that the Toros Academy, for at least their official team outside of the charter or whatever, they would go and they'd play one game, or they play a tournament one place, and then they'd go over to the next day for another one. So yeah, that does feel right. It feels strange to be in semi-pro, but I can kind of understand if Tyler FC are afraid of, or just don't want it to be an extra long season or something like that. I don't know. But back to back days of soccer, yeah, that's kind of normal in my eyes.
That's kind of strange. But then again, I am kind of used to professional level, so and you've got you're more about that the club high school level kind of thing, so it probably seems a lot more normal to you. But yeah, it caught me off guard right now. I didn't really pay attention like exactly that it's like from one day to the next until now when I'm trying to tell our fans about it. So anyway, so after that, the next week, Saturday, June 21st, they will be hosting Foro SC here at Harlingen Field at 7:30 p.m. And then the week after, this is the Wednesday game that you were mentioning, Jacob.
Okay.
June 25th at 7:30 p.m., RGV Red Crowns will be hosting Austin United FC at Harlingen Field.
Gosh. Haven't heard that name in forever. But when I looked at that schedule, when I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness. Have Austin United FC kind of moved up, because I remember them being with a part of the Toros, again, the Toros Academy, with like the U15s or whatever. They'd play against Austin United. And I remember even they had pro soccer teams, and my sister's club would play against Austin United FC somewhat. And, it's just, that's a name that a lot of people that have been around soccer all their life again kind of know of. And so that'll be a team that'll be fiercely competitive, just like the U23s of FC Dallas, because gosh, it's not an easy schedule at all, but at least they'll have the backing of their own fans. And I know we'll talk about it when game time comes, but that's one game to circle onto your calendar for sure.
And then after that, so the same week, that's a Wednesday game, and then that Saturday, the 28th, at 7:30 p.m., the Red Crowns will be hosting FC Revolution in Harlingen Field. And then for the final week, the final game of the regular season, on Wednesday, July 2nd, they will travel to Austin to take on Austin United FC, TBD on the time and the venue. But that's the regular season for the Red Crowns. It's pretty short. I believe it's 10 games, 10 total games. So like I said, it's just a summer league. And you're probably mentioning, okay, Emmett is watching. Well, is there playoffs, or is this just it? Do they just play amongst this conference? No, they do not. So I did get information straight from the league about information about the league for clubs in general. Just a quick recap on that. So there are 52 clubs in the league for clubs. 48 of them are set to play in 2025. So there's still a couple that are pending coming into 2026. Houston fans, be sure to listen. One of them is the what's the name? No, it's not the Royals. Is it?
Might be.
Yeah, let me tell you. Expansion. Okay. Nope. AC. Anyway, the important matter is that Houston is going to get the League for Clubs team, because I even told my friend Christian Putayas about it. Just that way ASC Royals or something like that. Regals FC. Thank you. Oh, good question. Good question, JP Dynamo. Do they qualify for U.S. Open Cup? I will get to that real quick. But yes, the Houston Regals SC is the team that are joining the League for Clubs for 2026. So anyway, as I was saying, so there are 48 teams playing in 2025. There are 6 conferences, including NorCal, Mountain Premier, who, just FYI, Jacob, include the Northern Colorado Hellstorm, the team that Chelo Martinez used to play with in USL League One.
Gosh. I mean, it's wild to think of that, there's, because, yeah, again, this league, they want to be recognized. That's, of course, I'm sure their main goal, like everyone. But, yeah, I mean, Cello was already good when he played for them, but that's a team that, you won't want to sleep on when they come into this league and all of that. And so,
unfortunately, I believe, I want to say it was them. The reason that they left USL, or I think they actually got kicked out of USL. It has something to do with their owners or something like that. I think it was a similar situation as the Central Valley Fuego, but don't quote me on that. So we got NorCal, the Mountain Premier, the Mid-American Conference, the Texas Conference, the Gulf Coast Conference, and the Northeast Conference. So here's the thing. You have 6 conferences, and each conference champion makes the playoffs. So only one from each conference makes it to the next round. Okay? The national championship weekend, the semis and the final, is July 25th and 27th in Dallas. The NorCal and Northeast Conference champions automatically qualify for the semis in Dallas. The other 2 spots will be determined by play-in games. The Texas champion versus the Gulf Coast champion, and the Mountain Premier versus the Mid-American champion. As of right now, so this is coming back with JP Dynamo's question, do they qualify for the U.S. Open Cup? As of right now, the only open qualification route remains the only way for member clubs to qualify for the U.S. Open Cup. So they don't have an automatic berth like USL Championship or USL League One teams do. They actually have to qualify against other amateur clubs, against other semi-pro clubs, to be able to make it into the actual U.S. Open Cup tournament. So that's the information. Hopefully that answers all of your questions. So technically, yes, the Red Crowns, technically, in theory, could make it into the Open Cup, but it's a long journey to actually make it into the tournament, at least being here right now in 2025 in the League for Clubs.
Check back in 2028. I think we will see this team qualify for the or try and qualify for the USL or for the US Open Cup. If the US Open Cup is still a thing by then, because that's a whole entire other political side of things for US soccer, because well, for some strange reason they're trying to get rid of it. Oh wait, that's MLS because they're a franchise league and scared of everybody else, including my beloved Portland Timbers are a part of the MLS, but for goodness sake, guys, get rid of these franchising things because we don't want that in the U.S., including everybody who ranks Wrexham, Wrexham, of all teams ahead of any of these American teams. If you were to do a survey of what soccer team do you like? Yeah, they will say Wrexham, or even a fake team called Richmond, which is kind of AFC Richmond to be exact, which is kind of interesting.
Oh,
but,
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, exactly. But that's that's my little rant about all that done. But hopefully, the U.S. Open Cup is still going to be a thing in 4 years when the Red Crowns will be a team fighting to go to the U.S. Open Cup. I have a feeling it's going to be 4 years. Maybe we'll be shocked. Maybe it'll be next year. Who knows?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Jacob, I want to say that is all the information so far that we have about the Red Crowns. Honestly, it's good to be back, guys. It's good to hear from all of you, Jeff Strong, JP Dynamo, Josh, Mike, Johnny, Slut Business, Blues Fan. It's great to have you all back. It's great to be back here on YouTube. I actually wanted to stream on Twitter, well, X, but Papa Elon, but Sith Lord Elon Musk says that in order to stream to Twitter, one must have a premium account, and I am not paying money to Twitter just to stream on their platform. For starters, it's
like
not
$15 a month or something like that.
Some dumb amount of money like that, and it's like, what do you get? Low bit rate, it's not worth it.
Get to edit your tweet.
Oh wow,
that's about it.
I'd rather just delete. I'd rather just delete and rewrite a tweet that I misspelled something. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can get some more news in the next couple of days. Like I said, we've got a lot of signings that are pending. We've got what's it called? We got the jersey pending a reveal as well. So it might be a busy next couple of days until Saturday for Red Crowns news. So be sure to check out all of our social media at Down at the RGV on Twitter, Facebook. Obviously, we've got Instagram. I don't have I don't have threads for the Down in the Valley podcast, nor Blue Sky. I never really understood Blue Sky. Anyway, but yeah, so
Blue
just
Sky
focus.
was just a competitor to Twitter. That's really all it was.
So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Be sure to check out all of those social media for more updates on Red Crowns news. Obviously, like I mentioned, we're not gonna have podcasts like these during the week, unfortunately, with our personal lives and other projects that we've got. It's a lot harder at this point of our lives to be doing midweek programs for you all. But like we mentioned, be sure to check out the pregame and postgame shows. That's where we're going to be doing any discussion of news, any discussion of previous games, upcoming games. Will happen in the pregame and the postgame show. Those two will be available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Stitcher, Google Podcast, etc., etc., etc. If you guys missed any part of this live stream, you can always check out those places, or you can also check out the archive on YouTube as well. Jacob, thank you so much for being back on Down in the Valley. I'm really looking forward to what 2025 brings us when it comes to the RGV Red Crowns.
Yeah, glad to be back. Looking forward to it. This is going to be very exciting and interesting, man. here we go. That's the best way to put it. Here we go. It starts this weekend, and then we get to see how all that's going to unfold this Saturday on the NSN. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. JP Dynamo. He says, I might have missed it, but did you mention where to watch? Yes. Okay. So obviously pregame and postgame, they're going to be here on the Down in the Valley podcast channel. But the actual broadcasts for all of the games for the League for Clubs will be on the National Soccer Network's YouTube channel and Roku channel. You will find our broadcasts for the Red Crowns. You will find them there on National Soccer Network. I will link that the YouTube channel on all of our social media. So be sure to go out there and click on the link and subscribe to that channel. Be sure to actually no, because then you're going to be spammed with all of the other rest of the notifications for the rest of the games. Whether because I think that not only do the League for Clubs
our game, Edson.
Well, we'll post it. We'll post it on our social media. That whenever we're going to be going live, we'll re-mention it again when we're on the pregame to switch over to the National Soccer Network's broadcast. We'll put the link there as well, so you guys can listen to us bring the play-by-play, bring you all the action for the Red Crowns in Harlingen, Texas. And obviously, if you guys want to watch any other Red Crowns or any other League for Clubs games, whether it's in the Texas Conference or any other conference, you will find them all in the National Soccer Network's YouTube channel. Let me see what else we got real quick. Etc. is a good name for a streaming service. I dig it. Honestly, I dig it. So if anybody was trying to find a name for a streaming service idea, there you go. Just be sure to give some royalties over to Jeff. And then final question, will y'all cover the post-game press conferences? That is a good question. I don't know 100% if there's going to be press conferences. I'm assuming that they should. I've already told Ray that if possible, he be the one in charge of being at the post-game press conferences. If there is, and here's another thing, I don't know if we're allowed to live stream post-game press conferences to do it on the post-game show. But if that's the case, we will be talking the post-game. Once press conferences start, we'll put the show, or we'll put it on the show, and then we'll kind of talk about it. That is still pending. So, but once we get a confirmation on one way or the other, I will let you all know on all of our social media on what's going to happen with post-game press conferences. And if they're not going to be allowed to be live streamed, obviously we're going to be doing the same thing like we did with the Toros in the last couple of years. They will be recorded and uploaded to the Down in the Valley YouTube channel or to Ray's South Texas Border Sports channel. It'll kind of depend who's available to be on the post-game press conferences. But Jacob, any final thoughts, or anybody in the chat, if they have any more questions, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah. One thing that I will say is, well, or even Edson, how many champions have we had on a baseball field that turned into a soccer field? Well, Portland Timbers. Then you've got the New York City FC, and then you've also got the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And so what I'm saying is, well, we're bound to have a championship here because of the fact that we are on a former baseball field of where the RGV Red Crowns are playing. It just brings that type of beautiful soccer culture, and I cannot wait for that to be brought very soon.
I don't know if you're being real or you're being sarcastic because I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot of people that back in the Toros days, they would always clown on New Mexico and to El Paso for playing in baseball stadiums. And now,
then they made we're playing every year.
And now we're playing in a baseball stadium. But the difference is it's going to be a lot more similar to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, where we're the sole user of that baseball stadium. So it'll be a soccer specific stadium in name, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Daniel Gonzalez says both Ruma and Jose played for FC Brownsville. Okay, so yes.
There we go.
So there is confirmation that Ruma and Jose played for FC Brownsville before. So it'll be interesting to see. it will be interesting to see how they adapt and play with the Red Crowns, and see how they continue to grow as they get more experience playing at the semi-pro level. So thank you so much, Daniel, for letting us know about that. And I think that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all of your support, all of the love that you've shown. Be sure, real quick, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to click on that button, click on the bell icon, so you'll be notified every time we upload something or we go live. Be sure to give this video a like, share it with all your friends, share it with your family, share it with your dog, share it with your grandma on all your social media, share it with your Tinder date as well. Well, actually, I don't recommend that, because that is, it's probably an automatic swipe. What is it, left to reject? I don't know. It's been a while since I've been on one. But yeah, share it with all of your friends. Let them know that Down in the Valley is back on a limited basis. Just to remind you all. It's not going to be like before, but hey, it's better than nothing. And honestly, I'm glad to be doing, even if it's something completely different than before. I'm honestly being back to talk to you about RGV Soccer here on this YouTube channel. Jacob, once again, thank you so much for coming on and talking about all of these players. And we'll see you all hopefully in that chat for that broadcast, that game broadcast, the 24th of May. And like I mentioned, Jacob will be handling it by himself. So be sure to go out there, click on the link, watch the game, and show him some love in that chat. And but I will see all of y'all the 31st in that pregame show and postgame show, and of course on the actual broadcast on the National Soccer Network. Thank you guys for everything. Give y'all a huge hug, and we'll see each other next time. Take care.